could consider this a 1 month review of ownership review. Definitely not 1 month of this, but 1 month ownership review of this 2007 Chrysler 300C SRT8. So I bought the car with, let's just take a look here. I bought this car with let's see. So about 72,100 miles. I put 504 miles on it since I bought it. I've owned it for a little over a month now, just about 6 weeks. And I've really come to like the car. I don't drive it a ton because it is, a modern classic. I just have my truck as my daily driver. Although I have been driving it a little bit more. The weather's been nicer, and I just like to drive it. So with that being said, we got 504 miles on it. I bought it with about 72.1 on the clock, and most of that was driving. It was about a 350 mile round trip to get the car. So, no, it was more like, I want to say 500. So I put basically 250 miles on driving the car back to the house, and then 250 miles on since I bought it in about that 1 month span of ownership. So I haven't driven it that much. I've really only driven it to work or to the gym or to and from work, because I store it at work in my shed. And it's been so far so good. When I had a Genesis prior to this car, 5.0 R spec, and then after that I had a that's a little animal. I had a Mercedes E550, and although those cars were newer, this car just has the most character. But you have to make sure, this is older Chrysler, so you have to make sure you can see like some of the disshapen body panels here, the plastic, and it's starting to happen on that side too. But that's no fault of mine. I keep mine in a climate controlled shed. So, and that was kind of my purpose of this car, and that Mercedes too. I didn't want to drive it a ton, but listen to the Hemi. You don't even have to step the pedal down to enjoy this car, and that's what I really like about it. But this is definitely not a car that I would daily drive. I'm fortunate enough where I could afford this car and, have my daily driver be my truck, which I need for my business. But I don't know if I would daily this car or not. A, because it's a collector's, it's a classic vehicle, a modern classic. And then B, it just, doesn't have the niceties of the, newer cars. And C, it is an older car, so you don't know if you want to be racking those miles up on your vehicle like that. By any means. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. But, overall, so far, so good with the car. It definitely takes a little while to warm up. It doesn't like those, cold mornings per se like it is this morning. It's actually quite cold. 42. I'm sure when I get to the course, there will be frost on the course. So we did turn the heat up in the car a little bit here. And then we have some birds. But I have to say, this is definitely my favorite car I've owned. I've had quite a plethora of cars. And there's a Charger right there, fellow brethren. That is an RT model, though. And this is my favorite, Genesis being number 2. There's just so much character to this car with that 6.1 liter Hemi, and with everything going hybrid or electric, you're not going to have a much longer to own a car like this that has low miles on it. So my thinking was, you just snatch one up and basically you drive the car and own it for a little while before you're either forced to go into battery electric or whatever, hybrid, partial battery electric. But overall, it's definitely a car I would buy. Ooh, there's a pheasant. That would have sucked to hit. One of these SRT8 models from back then, whether Challenger, Magnum, 300, Charger, doesn't really matter. It's just fun to drive these vehicles, and they're pretty affordable now. Most of these pre-refresh models in 2011, 2012, you can get a lot of these models for under $25,000 with decently low miles. Whether I'm going to hold on to this one, I'm not sure yet. Whether I want to try to flip it, make a little bit of a profit, I'm not sure, and get into another SRT8 vehicle, I don't know yet. We'll see. But my 1 month ownership of this has been very positive so far. The car gets a ton of looks. Not a lot of people, to tell you the truth, know what this is. I did get pulled over by a cop when I first got the car. Really no fault of my own. I wasn't speeding or anything. I think my temporary plate fell off or fell down or something, but I think more or less he wanted to look at the car. He didn't know Chrysler made a 300 SRT8, but it's got a really mean sound to it, even in its stock form, and it is pretty dang cool to drive. And the driving dynamics are actually not bad. They're very similar to that Genesis 5.0 R-Spec that I had, and it's very, very comfortable thanks to the seats. These seats are some of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in, actually, and I appreciate that a lot as somebody who drives a lot. Maybe not necessarily in this car, but after a long day of work or going to work this early in the morning, I appreciate comfortable seats, and that's what these seats are. So you can't complain like that. It's better than my couch, honestly, and that's saying a lot right there. My couch is pretty damn comfortable. But overall, very happy with the car, very happy with how it drives. As long as you take care of these vehicles, depending if I hold on to this car for a while, I'm going to do, regardless of the mileage, I'm just going to start doing oil changes around at tops 3,000 miles. It just depends, I guess, at how much I drive the vehicle and, how easy it is to do oil changes on this, but it really shouldn't be that bad. So if you're looking for one of these vehicles, make sure you buy it from somebody reputable, whether it's a dealer or an individual. The individual who had this was very OCD, almost more than me, and he cared for this car like it was his own child. So when you buy one of these high performance vehicles, make sure that you purchase it from somebody reputable. If you can get all the papers that came along with it, please do that. I thought I saw a raccoon up here. We don't want to hit that with the SRT, and just do a good look over the car. The owner who I bought this from didn't do any burnouts. He didn't treat it like shit, and that's important because a lot of these high performance SRT8s get treated like shit. So just do your homework when you're buying one of these, and I wouldn't recommend it for your daily, depending where you live, unless you can find one with really low miles. But as a weekend driver, second to none. This is one of the most fun and head-turning weekend drivers you will get, hands down, any of these SRT products. I can almost guarantee you that. I'm very happy to be in this car, and honestly, there wasn't a lot of 6.1s made. There wasn't a lot of 300 SRT8s made. So I'm almost, I'm thankful that I was able to work my ass off and afford this car and basically drive it now. It's mine. The title is mine. So that's pretty cool to basically be driving one of your dream cars since you were a child. And I treat it nice, and if you treat it nice, it will treat you nice. And to go along with it, this is one of the cleanest 300 SRT8s in the country, and I could proudly say that. Man, you just can't beat the look of this vehicle. Wow. Oh my gosh. And that is one of the cleanest. I do a little bit of detailing. I did a paint correction on this. For the miles, it's one of the cleanest 300s in the country. This is a beautiful, beautiful car. Waiting for my plates that say "See My SRT," and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous vehicle. Wow. It's been my dream car ever since I was a little kid. These came out in 2005. I believe I was 7 or 8 years old when the 300 came out in its SRT form, and let me tell you, this is just an excellent car. No complaints here.